meeting is being recorded.
RVA Business Talk Radio on ESPN 106.1 FM, The Choice 105.3, and worldwide on IBGR.network. Mikey Big Radio.
Mike King is a businessman. He's a businessman with his own talk show. On the mic with Mike. He's the best business radio program in the game.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back on the Mic with Mike. It is the premier business radio program around. I'm your host, Mike King. I appreciate you being here with me. The views expressed here in mine have no connection to, support, of agreement with any other host, information, or ads on the station. I don't work for the station. My program just airs here on a daily basis. Join me as our cutting edge show. We uplift the community and showcase RVA in a different way. Sounds you're listening to are emanating from the Mike King Biz Studio, which is the global epicenter of social enterprise business, otherwise known as the ESPN Studios here in Richmond, Virginia. We'd like to thank our show sponsors. Make sure you check them out. They're out there really doing some great things. You'll be able to hear them during the program. You can follow me on social platforms, hashtag on the mic with Mike, as well as Mike King Biz. I'm out there minding my business. I'm just a humble talk show host. I run across some people doing some outstanding things. I see this thing called the Bro Code. I'm like, yo, what is this thing out there? So what I do, I reach out to the guys right there. I'm like, hey, what I see you guys are doing is awesome. Want to come on my show? And who do I have? Troy Johnson is here. Welcome to the program, sir.
What's going on, brother? Out there in Richmond. What's going on, Mike King?
That's right.
Troy is definitely in the building, baby.
I'm glad to have you guys on the show. And I always say this is a business show. Start off with who you are and what you do.
Yes, indeed, man. My name is Troy Jermaine Johnson. I am 1/3 of the Bro Code Show. We are a TV show / podcast. We celebrate the unique and courageous stories of others, really giving people a platform to talk about themselves, like yourself, Mike, that really have a dope experience. We're starting right here in Raleigh, North Carolina, and we're going from the top down, man. We're talking to individuals that are entrepreneurs, that are athletes, that run their own businesses, or even converse with others, politicians, and everything in between, man. So our 5 pillars of conversation are the culture, everything Black, health and wellness, and that breaks down to spiritual wellness, financial wellness, physical wellness, and mental wellness, love and relationships, and of course, community engagement. We started, man, Mike, in the pandemic. You know, like everybody else, we started in the little boxes, similar to what we're doing now, and eventually got to a space where we said, hey, we want to take these courageous conversations and do it sit-down style, like being on the couch. We built our team, videographer, photographer, branding experts, and we just started going down our Rolodex, you know, really going out there and being intentional, knocking on those doors. It does help that we are community leaders as well. All of us are dope in our individual rights, but when we come together, man, it's like Voltron. So
there is power in numbers.
Indeed, we all we got.
So let me ask you this. So here, you guys are going along. You got your crew together. When did you know you had something?
You know, it's funny you say that, Mike. Again, we're community leaders, so we were already doing work in the community through our nonprofit YM4C, right? So
hold on, man. You just can't. You just see the way it works here. You just can't drop something on us. You got to. Let's back it up a little bit and tell us about the nonprofit, because that's big in our world.
Absolutely. So mission-driven work, purpose-driven work, that's where all of this conversation started. So YM4C, YM, the number 4C.org. Go check it out, Mike. But there you'll see our nonprofit, which serves underserved youth. We use character development and life skills to spark life into young men ages 7 to 17. And we've been doing this program since 2017. So through our work, we have engaged youth in classroom style teachings, in barbershop talks. We've exposed them to sports and using sports as a way to really speak life into that character from the inside out. The sports that we've exposed them to so far is golf, wrestling, football, basketball, boxing. We also are very big on career development. So traveling in the IT space, we do a program that encourages in coding and scripting and video game design, as well as courageous conversations in our voice. You know, community impact happens by finding our way in our voice. So to do that, we've connected with every law enforcement unit in the Raleigh area, Wake County Sheriff's Department, and used a program called the Man Up Barbershop Talk, where we actually take all of those elements into a comfortable, organic environment and really have a subject matter that speaks to the heart, whether that be confidence versus arrogance, accountability, respect. Kids get complimentary haircuts, really big on if you look good, you feel better, to continue that conversation. And we've served over 1,500 people, youth and families in our programming since 2017.
On the mic with Mike, ESPN Richmond. This is part of the Mike King Based Radio Network, which is ESPN Richmond 106.1. That's 5 to 7 a.m. Yeah, wake up with us then. The Choice 105.3, Richmond's leading family gospel radio program. That is 105.3 every day from 2 to 3, as well as International Business Growth Radio. We're doing like LeBron. We take our talents on the road, and what we do is we expose what's going on here on a global basis. That's Saturday at 10 a.m. So I got with me Troy Jermaine Johnson here. I saw him as the bro code. I didn't know all this other stuff was happening underneath that because I was mesmerized by what I saw with the bro code. Let me ask you this. So you've been in the nonprofit, the world community changing business for a while. How are people doing out there? How do young folks doing, say now, as opposed to pre-pandemic when we were all just we were living our lives and then everybody got sent home on timeout. How are people doing now?
Well, remember, children are my burden. So let's start there. You know, understand this, Mike. Children aren't equipped with credit cards, car keys, and Amazon accounts. What do I mean? You know, when we were going through the pandemic as adults, we had ways that we can potentially have outlets. You know, the kids were stuck at the house or stuck in the means by which they live in. So with that comes isolation, depression, lack of social engagement. That's where YM4C has really stepped in and filled the gaps, even through the pandemic. So right now, if you want to say for some, we're on the other side of that. Well, now we're having to actually dig them out of a hole, right? They're seeking that social engagement. And, you know, right now we're finding that kids are really trying to figure it out, you know, especially the younger ones, man. Like the elementary school level, that first, second, third grade is so important, if nothing else, to get social skills. And a lot of that was taken away just because of this pandemic, man. So now that we're on the other side of it, the biggest thing is support and presence, right? Being present for the kids.
So what they see is, this is one of Mike Troy Jermaine Johnson is with us, and we're talking about the future of our nation, our community here. He is with the Bro Code Show. When you guys put that together, how'd you figure out what the content was going to be? Or each of you guys are separate, you know, you bring your own subject matter expert, your expertise, and you put it all together. But clearly you guys are intentional with what you're offering. It's not just some willy-nilly, you just threw it together.
Yeah, indeed. I love that word too, Mike. That's a word that's resonated with us. And you're right, we are individually awesome, but collectively, man, we come together like Voltron. I'm the energy. Bro Kirk, we call him Recon. We remember there's a study of the craft. You ask good questions, you get good answers. Well, the only way you're going to be equipped with such is to do some recon, find out about the person, and really highlight them. Like the work speaks for itself, because that's what you see online. What we impress upon is who's the person. You know, who how did you get to the point of the work? That came from potential pain, purpose, watching things, studying, going abroad, you know, whatever that. We try to undig that answer, you know, who is the person? But yes, and then my bro JC, man, very analytical, very passionate about money, very passionate about politics.
Well, he's that dude.
Yeah, he's that dude. Yeah,
he's
yeah,
that
yeah,
dude.
yeah, yeah.
We all need to either be that dude or know that.
That's
dude.
right. That's right. And, you know, during his day job, he is very philanthropic, runs one of the top 5 organizations. No need to say names, but this dude is really about empowering, goes abroad all the time to serve, has no kids of his own. So through YM4C, he's able to actually pour into children. And that's how we all met. We met through the purpose-driven work. We're all on the leadership team of the nonprofit, you know, so me and JC actually used to work together at that financial institution. I'll never forget. I was dismissed, right? That's a
We've all,
positive way
we've
to
all
say
been
it,
there.
right? Yeah. He saw me walking across the bridge. He was like, "Oh man," I was holding my box. He was joking. He was like, "Oh man, what did he do? Let you go?" And I was like,
Yes.
and yeah. And 7 years later, man, here we are, man. We've been to DC together. We've been to Charlotte. We've traveled all around the country, not just for the service-driven work, but for the message of the Bro Code. And we're just getting started. So yeah, very intentional. We have created segments, and we were able to actually get practice, quote unquote, Mike, because we used a virtual platform in the beginning. So we did 50 shows virtually before we decided to invest in ourselves and say, hey, now let's travel and we go to the guests. That's what makes us different. So we have a 3-camera system, videographer that will come and set the scene for the guests in the interview.
How do you determine who the guests are? Do you look out there and who the rock stars are? Some of them known, some of them unsung heroes.
You know what's so awesome about that, man? And even the more intentionality about it is through the service-driven work, we had built such a Rolodex in the network. We just started from the inside out. We already were connected to mayors. We were already connected to city officials. We were already connected to athletes. We were already connected just through the service and the purpose-driven work of YM4C. So we were favored, if you may, where we didn't have to just start picking people out off of Instagram and saying, hey, this is who I am. No, they already knew who Troy Jermaine Johnson was because of the purpose-driven work, well respected in the city because of the purpose-driven work. So we utilized and leveraged our already existing network. And then we doubled down, Mike. We created a segment. You know, this is trademarked by the Bro Code Show. You can try to duplicate it, but
you can't. It's only one original.
Only one original, baby. Only one original. So we created a segment called Calling Them Out. And dope people know dope people. So
that's exactly what I said. You know what? I got something just for you for what you guys are doing. Here you go.
Mike King says,
no matter what.
And they stay there, and they say yeah, and they say yeah. Cause all I do is win, and if you going in, put your hands in the air.
See, what we do here is we celebrate people who are out there doing big things. You guys, no matter what, I'd never met you, I'd never heard of you, but when you see, people don't think that brands work. Man, brands work all the time. I come across the Bro Code, I have no idea. It's fascinating. I reach out. You operate where you do. I operate where I am. I know. I always say cool people know cool people. But you know what? Sometimes you expand that circle and you run into the world gets to be a bigger place, but it's not that big. And all of a sudden you start looking at people doing some really cool things. You know, and I'm celebrating you guys. So how do people find the Bro Code and you guys out there?
Absolutely, man. The Bro Code Show. Go to Instagram right now at Bro Code Show. You'll see myself, Bro Kurt, Bro Smith. This is also our podcast art. So you can go to Anchor, Spotify, any of the audio podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, the Bro Code Show. You'll see it as soon as it comes up. This is the artwork that you'll see. Also go to YouTube. You're a video guy, you want to see the different, each episode, we're in a different location. So there is no one set. You never know what, every Wednesday at 7 p.m., YouTube and all audio podcast platforms. YouTube channel is Bro Code TV Productions. Again, Bro Code TV Productions on YouTube. Follow us every Wednesday. We're 42 episodes shot, 12 to the world. We'll be starting season 3, fourth quarter of this year.
One of Mike Troy Jermaine Johnson that's here with us. If you ever get up to Richmond, there's some folks up here who, there's a lot of great things happening here. It's a diverse city, but there's some magic happening. Regardless, there's a brother up here named Dontrese Brown who has this thing called Hidden in Plain Sight. It looks at Richmond from 100 years ago, and it shows you in VR. And he always says the worst things that happened to Black folks in this country is paved over with a parking lot. Because you know what? And a lot of times, so you look in this town, the places with the most harsh history, it's a parking lot there. So there's a lot of great things going on. I look at it from the business aspect of how business can help society be better. When the young guys look at you, first, they see these people here. What do they think about when they see you guys, that you're able to give them information and instruction and show them as a guidepost of what success looks like?
Success, man. I think first and foremost, I always will tell a young person that that's defined by you, right? There's no one rubric for that. But always encouraging them to be their best selves, and now we don't tell kids what to do. We structure the way that we challenge them, asking them, consider, man, have you ever considered, and a lot of times the kids know, they just want you to pull it out of them. And it truly starts with our 4 cornerstones, Mike, which are love, consistency, opportunity, and exposure. But I will say this, next year will be 5 years of us doing this community-driven work, right here, grassroots level in Raleigh, North Carolina, serving young men ages 7 to 17 through those 4 cornerstones. Oftentimes when we speak with our leadership team and our board, we think so on a macro level, like, hey, we took them to DC, we exposed them to this. And when we get the feedback, I'll never forget one of our star youth, man, I love this kid, Cartier Stuckey. He's graduating from high school this year, going on to Fayetteville State to study dental hygiene. We've been blessed to be able to now present him next week when he's in graduation with the big check, scholarship, MacBook, and really help him springboard to his next level. Well, we were at a barbershop. Cartier has been with us since 7th grade, since he was in middle school. He's graduating high school this year. He gave us feedback and we asked him, hey, what are one of the memories? And I'm thinking this kid is about to say something grandiose. And you know what he tells me, Mike? He says, man, I'll never forget when Mr. Troy stood with me in the corridor in my apartments. It was raining and I was going through a tough day. And he showed up at the door and knocked on the door and he sat there and talked to me for 2 hours. He said, I was in a tough time. I was in a dark place and he didn't even know it. He was talking about me and I'm in the room. Man, I promise you my eyes started watering, man.
It was one of them Jerry Maguire moments. You ain't gonna start crying up in here.
Hey, man, all the punk came out of me, man. All the
exactly
came out of me. Yeah.
Because a lot of times people don't realize that day, you're thinking it's the trips, you're thinking all those things. You changed the course of somebody's life that day. And it was just a regular day for you. It's just like, all right, let me go over to the crib, talk to them for a minute, boom. All right, I got to do this after that. He looked back at that moment and said, this dude changed my life.
Yeah.
You gave him a faith in humanity.
That's the why, bro. Like, and as long as the culture stays that way and the purity of what we do stays that way, it will continue. It will continue to flourish, and we're going to continue to push the voice. We're going to continue to encourage these children. But honestly, Mike, we could do more and more. So, hey, I always encourage individuals the same way that you reached out because you saw it was dope. We need more people to do that. We need more people to get involved because we could do more with more, man.
What's the next big thing for your organization that people need to know about?
Right now, we are exposing youth to the trades. What does it look like, Mike, for a trade, a skill, from plumbing to HVAC to everything in between when it comes to the skills, to no longer be looked at as secondhand?
Like we did when I grew up.
That's absolutely right, man. Like,
but you know what? Now you look at a plumber totally different when the crib is messed up.
Because guess what, man? Look, I'm a talker, I'm a fixer, but not in that manner.
I'm not a fixer. No.
But Mike, what does it look like now for us to put those options back into the hands of our children? My MacBooks is gave me the little red light.
Don't worry about it. Go ahead, handle it.
Well, Mike, what does it look like for us to put the hands of options? So I always say, Mike, this is one of my taglines: hope plus options equals success. Right? When you said it earlier, when we lack hope, we gravitate towards silly. So if we have hope and then we're able to marry those hope with options, it'll lead us to some type of success. And I truly believe that. It's happened in my life and I've seen it happen in those that we serve. So with that being said, we are doing what's called the YM4C Trade Options Program. We're already in test phase and implementation phase of that, where we're looking to take 4 cohorts of 10 college youth and introduce them to several trades. Right now, they're being introduced to welding and fabrication. And also we're marrying that with, hear me well on this one, Mike, this one's different. Submersible drones. Yes, Mike, drones that go in the water. They're used for excavation. They're used to find bodies. They're basically replacing humans. Why? Because they don't need air. They just need power, and they can last longer down there. They're used for surveying. They're used for several different things, but these are options that these kids can do, earn certifications in, and we want to be in the, not just follow trends, but set the trends and being able to offer that. How can people help? Go to www.ym4c.org, ym4c.org, and donate. We're looking to raise $12,000 to be able to cover all 4 cohorts, field trips, all the materials, curriculum. Yes, $12,000. That's no money, Mike.
No,
to
that's,
cover
that's,
all. That's no money.
that's no money.
It's no money, man. You know, to cover all 4 cohorts, and we're not stopping there, because once we do all 4 of those cohorts, we're now going to change the trade. Meaning now we're coming alongside someone who already is a barber or HVAC. They'll be doing 8 different skill sessions that will all be hands-on. There'll be an online curriculum, and at the end of it, they will earn a certification, a beginner certification in drones, as well as a certification in welding, as well as for those students that are in 12th grade that maybe are undecided. We can now connect them through the welding program to on-the-job training, where they don't have to let any grass grow under their feet. They don't have to have that gap year. We can follow them into something and continue their works. It works, Mike. Why? Because I remember vividly, I was talking to Tyaden Baez. Tyaden has been with us again since 7th grade. He is graduating this year. He was working at Food Line. I went up to Food Line, and I do that intentionally, and asked this kid the magic question, what's next for you? And he looked at me like a deer in the headlights. So I said, hey man, well, what do you like to do? 10 minutes later, I got welding out of him. I told him to take his break. We have a huge network. I called someone who does the trade. We got him a mentor, and now he's been using the same location that we're doing these events at. Actually, how this matriculated, and now is going to Wake Tech to study fabrication because of the exposure and because of the experience. So yes, we need your help. This is needed, and there's a million kids. I was that kid, but I had people around me that gave me options.
There you go, Troy Jermaine Johnson. We'd like to thank you, sir, for coming on the program. What you guys are doing out there is amazing. And like I said, there's a young brother up here who came to Richmond about 2 years ago, and he understood the value of the trades, because the mayor here talks about, how many cranes are in the sky, says, the viability of your city. So Charles Wilson came up, he goes by Legacy. He came here and he started an academy with doing the same thing, because he said there's money in the trades, it's opportunity in the trades, and there's too much business going on here for people not to be taking a part in it. So I'd like to thank you for coming on. And like I said, what you do is, you guys are winners out there. And I just got this for you when I saw you coming down the street. All righty, sir. I'd like to thank you one last time. How can people find you out there?
Absolutely, Troy Jermaine Johnson. Look, you can call me. Everything starts with the conversation. Area code is 919-714-9905. You can go to my Instagram page at Troy Jermaine Johnson, all spelled out, all lowercase. You can also hit us up on at Bro Code Show. Talk to myself, Bro Kirk, Bro Smith. Follow us, check us out. Check out the 13 episodes that are already out, and we've got a ton more. We're just getting started.
It's crazy. I came from TV before I was here. I was over at CW and NBC 12 here in Richmond. I understand the videography, the TV side of it. It's powerful. Both of these platforms that you're operating on are powerful. You guys are putting a great message out there, and I thank you for taking the time. I'll talk to you soon. I'm going to give you a shot offline, and we can talk about what's happening out there, but I appreciate you taking the time, sir.
And I want to come up to Richmond, too. Pops is from Suffolk, so he worked at Norfolk Naval Shipyards. So everything you're talking about, that was actually one of my options when I got out of high school. I did the merchant seaman. So that's how I traveled the world, man. I was a merchant seaman, man, up there in Norfolk for about 5 years, bro. So let's talk.
Good enough. On the mic with Mike, we bring you the best and brightest. Troy Jermaine Johnson, sir. Thank you. Take care now. Bye.